Constitution of the Philippines. I assure you that I am utilizing this power for the proclamation of martial law vested in me by the Constitution for one purpose alone, that is, to save the Republic and reform our society.
This week with David Brinkley. Now from our Washington headquarters, here's David Brinkley.
It's all changing by the minute, but from our open line to the Philippines, here's what is happening now. There is a mutiny, military and civilian, against President Marcos and his government. The defense minister of the Philippines and the second in command of the army are holed up in a fort surrounded by friendly troops demanding that Marcos resign. The fort is surrounded by civilians also, including women, Catholic priests, nuns, supporting the mutiny. Marcos talks of attacking the fort with artillery, but it is said some of his military units refuse to take orders from him. We'll stay on top of it, all here on our Sunday program. First, a report from Manila from ABC's Jim Laurie. Jim?
The standoff between rebellious military elements and Marcos loyalists began Saturday as helicopters supporting members of the so-called military reform movement ferried in weapons to the camp housing the nation's defense ministry. The defense minister, Juan Ponce Enrile, and the deputy chief of staff, General Fidel Ramos, leading the reformists, had decided on mutiny against President Marcos.
As of now, I cannot in conscience recognize the President as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces.
I call upon now everyone who is imbued with a sense of justice and respect for the law to disobey the orders given to them.
The two, both longtime friends and Marcos supporters, both accused the president of cheating Corazon Aquino out of victory in the elections 2 weeks ago. The mandate of the people, they said, rightfully belonged to Aquino. Angered by the rebellion, Marcos took to television, accusing them of plotting a coup d'etat.
They were part of an aborted coup d'etat, an assassination plot against the president and the first lady.
With that, Marcos threatened to bring the mutiny to an early end, but for the first 20 hours at least, did nothing. By dawn today, popular support for the military rebellion had grown large. The rebel leaders praying at impromptu morning masses. General Ramos holding out at one military camp, calling for support from units from around the country. And Minister Enrile commandeering the complex housing the Ministry of Defense. By midday, still awaiting a move by Marcos, the two altered their strategy. Enrile, brandishing a small Uzi machine gun, abandoned his base at the Ministry of Defense and marched to join Ramos at Camp Crame, the compound across the street. Enrile protected both by hundreds of armed men and the goodwill of Roman Catholic sisters. The defense minister reaching the main street greeted by tens of thousands of cheering supporters. Their chants of Cory, Cory for Aquino turning to chants of Johnny, Johnny, the nickname of the defense chief. And the military, as Enrile quipped, for the first time was earning popular love, not hate. Reunited with a buoyant General Ramos, the two vowed they would not surrender. They would hold out until Marcos resigned. So the dramatic move to Camp Crame came, as Enrile put it, to consolidate their forces. From here, Ramos and Enrile continue their rebellion, uncertain what an unyielding President Marcos would do next. Yes. And Marcos went on television for the third time in 24 hours, calling on the rebels to surrender. While acting with restraint, he warned what he could do.
All these points are vulnerable to even simple mortar attack or artillery attack. If we wanted to finish this in, say, 1 hour, we could.
Enrile later met that threat with one of his own.
We will not fire the first shot, but the moment they fire the first shot, I think we will be engaged, and they will find out that either they will annihilate us or we will destroy them.
Finally, Marcos made his first move. A column of loyal Marines moved up the highway to Camp Crame. But the trucks and armored personnel carriers were met with an amazing display of what General Ramos called people power.
Let us pass. We are just told to go to JHQ.
Urged to show their solidarity with Ramos and Enrile by the Roman Catholic Cardinal here, Jaime Sin, they halted the convoy, at first with prayer.
Thank you, Jesus. Touch the heart of every soldier, Lord.
And later with sit-ins, trucks, and buses blocking the way. The new military confrontation here appeared to dwarf the continuing efforts of Corazon Aquino to bring down the Marcos government. While the drama in Manila was unfolding, Aquino was in the southern city of Cebu, continuing a post-election campaign advocating civil disobedience. Today, returning to Manila, and before going into seclusion out of a concern for safety, Aquino made yet another plea.
For the sake of the Filipino people, I ask Mr. Marcos to step down now so that we can have a peaceful transition of government.
Yet faced with the mounting pressure from Aquino, foreign powers, the church, and now military rebellion, Marcos still seemed unyielding.
I will not resign on the say-so of, those who criticize my administration.
But for now, Marcos was in search of an effective way to deal with a popularly backed military rebellion. As the day ended, his forces in their first appearance on the streets were turned back, the tanks returning to base, the people cheering them on with the slogans and victory signs of Aquino echoing behind them. Jim Laurie, ABC News, Manila.
This is the latest bulletproof vest that I will be wearing. You know, this is Kevlar on top here to protect this, and then a back part on this side. But as I said, this is only good for the body, but in the head, there's nothing else we can do. So you have to be very ready with your hand camera, because this action can become very fast. Yes. In a matter of 3-4 minutes, it could be all over, you know. And I may not be able to talk to you again after this. So this is the danger, the big danger.
Thank you.